My guest this evening is Kevin Williams. He's the chairman of Young Enterprise for the North Surrey Area Board. Kevin, once again, lovely to have you with us. Let's talk a little bit of history behind Young Enterprise.
It started 51 years ago in Surrey, of all places, and by a gentleman called Walter Salomon, and who was the Knight of the Realm. And he noticed that students were too academically inclined and not being prepared for the world of work. So he started in a couple of schools in Surrey the idea of running your own company, and it's just blossomed from there. In schools, you tend to do things, apart from maybe the football team or the rugby team, you tend to do things on your own, and all of a sudden you're now in a group of 10, 12, 15 people who all have different functions within the company, and believe it or not, you actually have to communicate. And one of the most difficult skills of all we try and teach them is to listen, because they're lousy listeners. So learning teamwork, learning communication, leadership, saying your piece, choosing, saying that's not a good idea, let's move in a different direction. All these things you just do not get in a traditional academic education. Now the Young Enterprise program runs a year, and we do insist that they liquidate at the latest at the end of July, when the school term finishes. And indeed most of them do that, and and of course what they've got, whether they've had a great product or not, they've learned an enormous amount, which is really what it's all about, whether they won any prizes or not. But occasionally we will get a company that will shut down as a Young Enterprise company and start up the next day as their own company. And there's a famous company, I don't know if it's still running, down in Wiltshire, which started its life importing orchids, started its life as a Young Enterprise company, and was passed on for a number of years, where the directors who were moving on to university would hire people in the school to carry on the company, and it ran for at least 4 or 5 years. I don't know if it's still running. And we do have one in Surrey, actually, which is continuing, one of the companies from West Surrey, where we actually got some venture capitalists involved to give them some cash for a return for Young Enterprise, of course, and they're continuing to run their business from last year. It is exactly like a normal small business setting up. You have to decide who's going to be running your company. You have to decide what you're going to do. You have to understand who your target consumer is for your product or your service. And you have to, brainstorm the ideas, create the basis for your business, and then with the help from the board, we will give them some training on marketing and writing a business plan, because frequently you'll get some students come in and say, I've got this great idea for a product, and it's fine to have the idea up here, but the best place to have it is on a piece of paper where you've discussed it with all of your team. So work it, communicate to your team, work it as a team, build the idea, create a business plan. We are running a festival at Merrill Lynch in Camberley in mid-February, which is a dry run for the area final, where all the companies come together and display their wares. They're interviewed by judges, they do their 15-second ad, they make a presentation to about 250 people, and there are various prizes for various things, such as the ad, their presentation, their trade stand, their company report. Well, if anybody is interested in helping young people understand business and the world of work, Young Enterprise is always looking for volunteers. You can apply through the national website or via our Facebook site in North Surrey. And what advisors can get out of this is those possibly in the early days of their career may not have any supervisory responsibility. They may be working essentially on their own. And it's great to have the experience of mentoring young people, and they can get an awful lot out of it. Certainly some of the big companies that support us, like P&G and Thales, give us young people with 2-3 years into their career who maybe have never had any supervisory responsibility, and they can mentor this group of students, and they get great value out of that. Getting involved with other people, working with other people, can be a life-changing experience. Getting your academic qualifications is a great thing and a very important thing, but learning how to work with other people, learning skills like how to effectively listen, how to effectively communicate, how you can draw people's opinions out and assemble an idea and challenge that idea. It's a wonderful thing for young people to do. And it's extremely inspiring for older folk like myself to see them do that and to give them the benefit of your advice. And it makes you think about the lessons you've learned in your career and in your life as well. And it's very rewarding for both the participant, the student, and also for the volunteer.